Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you all? I think all of you very fine, and I am also very fine by the grace of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Dear students, welcome back to my new another English class on English first paper, and this is on Unit 1, Lesson 3. Your the title of your lesson is Two Women. Now we will discuss on one woman. Okay, we will let us start our class. Now we will start our class and we will discuss on Valentina Tereskova, one of the two women of your lesson. Dear students, here I am going through my uh, classes, and you please turn on your page of your English past paper, Unit 1, Lesson 3, and please take notes. Also, you can write down the some of the major word meanings in this I have collected on a black whiteboard. Dear students, I am starting my class. You can write down the word meanings, your vocabulary, and I have told you that before going through or before you reading your passages, please please write down or collect many of your vocabulary and synonym and antonym, and carry on your memorizing or collecting on your vocabulary word meanings. And if you very expert in your word meanings or also in your vocabulary, you can come continue, or you can go on your speaking, listening, or also speaking in English. Okay, so a huge vocabulary will help you to understand English or to speak English, also to um, conversate in English. So, dear students, I am going through the lesson about Valentina Tereskova. Valentina Tereskova was born in the village Maslenikovo, today Vesky district in central Russia. And Tereskova's father was a tractor driver, and her mother worked in a textile plant. You know, in this sentence, in this passage, the passage is about Valentina Tereskova was a Russian cosmonaut, and she was the first woman in skydiving, also in flying to another world or in flying to the sky. So now we have come to know that the Valentina Tereskova came from a very simple family. Here I will discuss, and in this passage they are explaining that her father was a tractor driver and her mother worked in a textile plant, also a garments worker. Tereskova began his school in 1945 at the age of 8, but left school in 1953 and continued her education through distance learning. She could not start her lesson in a formal institution. Only in distance learning she started her learning or her education also. But she was very intelligent and also bright girl in the beginning of her age. Dear students, in this sentence, he became interested in parachuting from a young age. In her childhood days, she was very interested in parachuting. You know parachuting here in this whiteboard. You can say parachute. Parachuting means jumping from the high parachute. This is called parachuting, and from the young age she was interested in parachuting like that, and trained in skydiving at the local aero club. Skydiving, you know, here skydiving and diving from the sky, and that is skydiving, the parachuting or performing during free fall from the sky. Then she was very trained in skydiving in a local aero club, making her first jump at the age of 22 on 21st May 1959. At the time, she was employed as a textile worker in a local factory. She was her mother was a factory worker, or also she was started her working, or her employee as a textile worker in a local factory. It was her expertise. Expertise means here, expertise means expert or experience, and in skydiving that led to her selection as a cosmonaut. Cosmonaut, the total lesson is about cosmonaut. Two women, that is, one is Valentina Tereshkova, another is um, Kalpana Chawla, our Indian girl, and the as Valentina Tereshkova, her expertise or her experience in skydiving that led to her selection as a cosmonaut. Cosmonaut means cosmonaut, astronaut, and astronaut of the rocket, and also the sky flight, the cosmonaut. And after flight of Yuri Gagarin, the first human being to travel to outer space in 1961, Yuri Gagarin was the first person who traveled to outer space, and after that they have decided one of our female or women will be traveled in the outer space, and she is the Valentina Tereshkova, and the Soviet Union, that Central Russia, decided to send women in space. They have decided, and on 16 February 1962, Proletariat Valentina Tereshkova was selected for this project from among more than 400 applicants. 400 applicants. One had been selected from 400 applicants, and she was Valentina Tereshkova. Valentina Tereshkova had to undergo a series of training that included weightless flight. Some of series training she had to undergo, and that was included weightless flights. That is weightless. Weightless means weightless flight. It's a training for being a cosmonaut or also astronaut. Isolation test. It's isolation in this coronavirus. Corona patient have to go in a isolation, and that is isolation means separation from everyone. This is isolation, and isolation test, that is isolated from the maybe in the outer space, the plane or the rocket of the outer space, and some of the test here, isolation test, and this is isolate from the space maybe. And centrifuge test also. Centrifuge means also the outer isolation or separation, that is separation from liquid, that is liquid from solid. This is centrifuge also means separation. And rocket theory, the sun theory of rocket, and spacecraft engineering. Some of the driver, that the truck driver, the bus driver, and many of the driver, they have to gather some knowledge about the engineering of the bus or train or any other things. That's why the cosmonaut also had to gather some engineering knowledge about spacecraft, and 120 parachute jumps and pilot training in MiG 15 UTI jet fighters. Their students, he had to undergo some serious training in this, including that weightless flights, isolation test, centrifuge test, rocket theory, etc. Now, since the successful launch of the spacecraft Vostok 5 on 15 June 1963, Tereshkova began preparing for her own flight. Since successful launch of the spacecraft Vostok 5, her traveling spacecraft was Vostok 5. That is the Vostok 5, and Vostok 5 was launched 15 June 1963, and Tereshkova began preparing for her own flight. On the morning of 16 June 1963, Tereshkova and her backup cosmonaut Solovyova were dressed in a spacesuits and taken to the space shuttle launch pad by a bus. After completing her communication and life support checks, she was escaped inside Vostok 6 and finishing a 2 hour countdown. Vostok 6 launched faultlessly. You know, faultlessly means faultless, without any fault. Yeah, her Vostok 5 was launched on 16 June, morning 16 June 1963. Dear students, from in this passage today, here we have discussed some of the uh, lessons and knowledge from this passage about Valentina Tereskova. And in this passage, you know, in your first paper, you have to ask some of answer. You have to answer the 5 of the questions from this passage, and also you have to write down the write down some of multiple choice, and then you have to summarize a you have to make a summary, and you have to summarize the passage in your answer. And in answer scripts or in your answer scripts of your final exam, you do not know that the summary will be the synopsis of the passage here also. So the total sorry, the total synopsis of the passage will be added in your summary. You copy, actually regularly you see that in your answer sheet we see only 1/3 of the passage including in your summary of the passage. So please be prepared in your prepare yourself for being prepared in your final exam. And actually at first you have to make a knowledge very clearly about this passage, and also please memorize such of your vocabulary and word meanings here. And today I will giving you some SW task, that is, please give your what make your notes in your make a notes in your in your hand notes. And SW is the unit 1 lesson 3, all the vocabulary included in this passage, and also the ask and answer of this question. So who is Valentina Tereskova, who and how he can complete it, how he could complete his skydiving and his series training, and how he can be fit for this for being a cosmonaut and also astronaut here. Okay, today I request you, and I do request you, please follow my lectures on my YouTube channel MKH Academy, and also our all classes, all lectures on this regarding these lessons, regarding this online classes. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.